this is Pico Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you. And I'm just going to give some quick thoughts on the recent casting of the Silver Surfer for the upcoming Fantastic Four movie, and why I feel it's perhaps a disservice to the character and also a massive missed opportunity. So just to go over the news quickly for anybody who doesn't know, it was recently announced back on Wednesday the 3rd of April 2024 that the Silver Surfer would indeed be included into the MCU with its Fantastic Four film, which is still due for release on June 2025. Now the surprise in this announcement was that the character will be played by actress Judy Garner, and that she will be playing a female variant of the character who is named Shada Bell. Now if you don't know the original lore of the Silver Surfer, the first and most definitive version was a male character called Norman Rad, who was originally an astronomer from the planet Zenlar, and his life changed forever when he made a deal with the galactic being known as Galactus, who devours planets to consume energy in order to preserve his lifespan. Now Norman Rad proposes to find planets for Galactus to consume if he spares his planet Zenlar and all of its inhabitants. Galactus fuses Norman Rad with the power cosmic to help search throughout the galaxy, thus turning him into the Silver Surfer. Now the character of Shada Bell was originally Norman Rad's wife, and as the Silver Surfer, Norman Rad searches the galaxy to one day find his home planet once more and be reunited with Shada Bell and all of the other civilians. So naturally, when this casting was announced, the internet, primarily on Twitter of course, fully exploded with its reactions, with many stating their opinions and arguments. We have the one side who hate this decision and see it as a further pushing of Disney and Marvel's never-ending diversity and representation initiative, a continuation of the MCU, where many believe that we are seeing iconic male characters being superseded by female ones within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We then have the other argument claiming that any outrage is typical of fandom toxicity and negativity, the fact that this is indeed an alternate version, not a gender swap, and that people should just wait and see the end product first before judging. So with all of that discourse, which is mostly online, why does this news really matter? Why is this a good or a bad thing? Why is it such a big deal? Well, from my perspective, I think it's a very bad decision, but let's be clear here. This is nothing to do with the actress Judy Garner, who I'm sure is a very competent actress. Her most notable work has been playing the role within the Netflix series called Ozark, for which she has gained a lot of award recognition. But this is not about her role in that series either. This is not about predicting whether the Fantastic Four film will be overall good or not. I've done a separate video on that and I will leave a link within the description. No, the main issue here is the overall disservice to the character of Silver Surfer. Now for me personally, I think Silver Surfer is one of the most awesome Marvel characters who has without doubt one of the best origin stories within all of comics. I've made videos on this channel before about the huge potential that can be brought from a standalone Silver Surfer movie. How it could be this truly epic, grandiose space adventure with state-of-the-art effects. Now yes, he did appear in the live action before with 2007's Fantastic Four sequel, The Rise of the Silver Surfer, but to be honest, he was much more of a bit part player there, and that involved Galactus once more. But of course, in that movie, he was more embarrassingly represented as a swirling cloud. Laughable at the time, yes, but maybe at this stage, audiences weren't quite ready for a Galactus that would be translated much more like what he is within the comics. But of course, at 2024 now, with the huge achievement of the MCU, bringing all of these B-level and C-level characters, introducing them to the mainstream and now making them household names, there really is no excuse why we can't see a much more faithful rendition of the Silver Surfer on the big screen. His origin story is easily understandable for general audiences. The cosmic part of the MCU has been steadily developed for many years now, everything from the 4 films to Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain Marvel, Eternals, and also Infinity War with the inclusion of Thanos of course. So integrating Silver Surfer into the universe really shouldn't be too much of a problem. So with all of that in place, I then asked the question, why the change for this overall casting? Why do we need to go for a female variant of this character? A variant who has barely appeared in the comic books, and you'd be hard pressed to find any sustained images of the character. And that's always the go-to excuse whenever we see this type of castings. When we see these alternate versions being used instead of the original characters, well, it's always in the comic books, right? So therefore, that's enough to be true to the source material. Well, being just in the comics isn't really a justifiable reason, as there are many versions of these characters that are badly written and have a very short lifespan. A lot of the time, these variants are involved in comic book runs that not even the most hardcore comic book fans know anything about. So I asked the question once more, why not go for the most recognised version? Wouldn't that be something that would be far more satisfactory to both fans and non-fans, as the definitive version will always tend to be the most developed and the best written? And that approach was certainly something that the MCU fully understood throughout its phases 1 to 3, but certainly post-Endgame that mindset seems to have been completely lost. Now if they wanted to provide more female characters throughout the story, they could still find ways to stay true to the source material and also tick all of their diversity boxes. In terms of the Silver Surfer, why not just cast Nova, who, if you know the lore, she was the next herald chosen by Galactus after Norrin Radd had rebelled against him. She's a far more substantial character within comic books, and she's interacted multiple times with both the Silver Surfer and the Fantastic Four in multiple storylines, and she has much more of a familiarity with hardcore comic book fans. Now perhaps this would have required more research than the film producers were prepared to do in order to provide this casting, but therein again lies the problems, certainly than what we're seeing within the superhero movie genre most recently. The fact that studios are just so quick to churn out all of these properties and all of these characters without really having a true investment and understanding as to what made them so special in the first place. Now yes, people will argue that we should wait and see. It could be that the character is really good, that the actress Julie Garner provides a very quality performance, and that Fantastic Four ends up being one of the best comic book movies of the year. But again, this is not really the point. The point is that are we really at the stage now where we don't really take these characters seriously anymore? That we don't pay the proper respect in terms of the source material, and therefore when we don't do that, you end up losing the initial interest and enthusiasm for the hardcore fans, and therefore generates much more negativity, which will also put off the more casual audience. And I think that's the problem that certainly is one of the main reasons why we are seeing much more of a decline within the superhero movie genre, certainly within the last 3 to 4 years. And this more recent approach in terms of adopting more variant-like characters who are far less established is something that I can never understand. When we look at entertainment, certainly for the last 30 to 40 years, there have been so many examples where using the most definitive version of this character has resulted in massive iconic success. And this was before even the explosion of the MCU took place. And I just think when looking at this casting overall, by not using Norrin Radd as the original Silver Surfer for his first initial appearance of the MCU, with all of the resources and all of the developed universe at their disposal, I just think it's a real shame that we couldn't use Silver Surfer in the right way, as I truly believe that if you did use this character in the right way, that he could have been really something truly special throughout the MCU. So we will wait and see what will happen when Fantastic Four initially releases, and indeed when we get those first screenshots of the team together and also the Silver Surfer herself, where we can gauge much more as to whether this movie will be successful or not. But even if it is, even if it goes on to gross $1 billion, I still believe that this is a massive disservice to a truly great comic book character who really should be getting far more than what he's getting by people who are in charge of these classic characters. So those are my thoughts and feelings when looking back and reflecting on the recent casting of the Silver Surfer for the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any other further topics or subjects or movies or television series that you'd like to see me review within the channel in the upcoming future, then also let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.